Elijah Carter walked through the busy space station with confident steps. People moved out of his way as he passed. Some recognized him as the CEO of Quantum Frontier Technologies, the company that made most of the engines for space travel. His dark skin gleamed under the bright lights of the station, and his expensive suit showed his high status. After a week of hard talks with leaders from other planets, Elijah was tired. He had just made a deal that would allow human technology to be used in the defense systems of the Galactic Alliance. This was a big win for Earth and would help humans gain respect among the stars. The luxury space cruiser Celestial Voyager waited at the dock. Unlike the plain military ships Elijah usually traveled on, this one was made for comfort. He checked his ticket again. Seat 1A, the best seat in first class. He deserved it after the week he had. "Good afternoon, Dr. Carter," said the young woman at the entrance of the ship. "Welcome aboard the Celestial Voyager. Let me show you to your seat." She led him to the first-class cabin that shined with clean surfaces and soft blue lights. The seats were wide and looked very comfortable. Elijah nodded with approval. "Here we are, sir. Seat 1A. Would you like something to drink before we take off?" "Water, please," Elijah said. He sat down and stretched his long legs. The seat adjusted to his body, and he sighed with relief. 3 hours of peace before he reached Earth. He could use this time to review the final details of the deal. The attendant brought his water, and Elijah pulled out his tablet. He began to read through the agreement points when a shadow fell across his screen. He looked up to see another attendant, a man with a tight smile. "Excuse me, sir," the man said. His name tag read, Carl. "There seems to be a mistake with your seating." Elijah raised an eyebrow. "I don't think so. This is seat 1A, correct? I confirmed my reservation yesterday." "Yes, but we need to move you to a standard cabin. We have a priority passenger who needs this particular seat." Carl's eyes moved to look behind Elijah. Elijah turned to see a white man in an expensive suit standing in the aisle. The man tapped his foot with impatience. "Priority passenger?" Elijah kept his voice calm, but his jaw tightened. "I'm the CEO of Quantum Frontier Technologies. My company designed the engines that power this ship." "I'm aware, sir, but Mr. Alan Peterson is a diplomatic contact for the Arcturian embassy." "Captain's orders." Elijah looked around the cabin. Other first-class passengers watched with uncomfortable faces. He noticed that he was the only person with dark skin in the first-class section. "I see." He stood slowly, rising to his full height of 6 feet 3 inches. He looked down at the nervous attendant. "Please tell your captain I want to speak with him right away." "That won't be necessary," Carl said quickly. "If you'll just follow me to your new seat." "I don't think you understand who I am," Elijah said, taking out his communication device. "Or who I know." Carl's smile disappeared. "Sir, I must insist. If you refuse to move, I'll have to call security." Elijah stared at him for a long moment. The entire cabin was silent. Then, without a word, he picked up his bag and followed Carl to the standard class section of the ship. The difference was clear right away. The seats were small and close together. The lighting was harsh, and the air smelled different. Carl pointed to a middle seat between 2 other passengers. "This is your new seat, sir. I apologize for the inconvenience." Elijah did not sit down right away. "I want your full name and employee number." Carl swallowed hard. "Carl Rivas, employee number CR7844. "Thank you, Mr. Rivas." Elijah's voice was ice cold. He sat down, his knees pressed against the seat in front of him. "You may go now." As soon as Carl left, Elijah pulled out his communication device. His fingers moved quickly over the screen as he made a call. "Admiral Gregory, this is Elijah Carter. I apologize for calling you directly, but there's a situation you should be aware of." He spoke quietly, but his words were clear. "Yes, aboard the Celestial Voyager. I was removed from my confirmed first-class seat to make room for a white passenger." He listened for a moment. "No, they claim he's a diplomatic liaison to the Arcturians. Alan Peterson is his name." Another pause. "You know him?" I see. No, please don't trouble yourself. I just thought you should know, given our conversation last month about transportation equality. The woman in the seat next to him tried not to listen, but Elijah could see she was interested. He ended his call and checked the time. The ship should have left the station 5 minutes ago, but they were still docked. His device buzzed with an incoming message. It was from Admiral Gregory. Stay where you are. Do not leave the ship. 3 minutes later, Elijah's device buzzed, again with another message. Justice incoming. The ship's communication system came to life. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Captain Frank Norris. We apologize for the delay. We have been asked to remain docked for the time being. Please stay in your seats. The captain's voice sounded strained. Elijah allowed himself a small smile as he sent another series of messages, one to his legal team, one to the Transportation Equality Commission, and one to the news media. The woman next to him finally spoke. Excuse me, but aren't you Dr. Elijah Carter? The one who made the breakthrough in faster-than-light travel? Elijah turned to her with a genuine smile. Yes, I am, and you are? Lisa Martin. I work in quantum communications at the lunar base. Her eyes were wide with excitement. Your work on entangled particle networks changed everything in my field. Thank you, Lisa. I read your paper on quantum encryption protocols last month. Very impressive work. Lisa's face lit up with surprise and joy. You read my paper? I can't believe it. Their conversation was interrupted as two security officers in Spacefleet uniforms entered the standard class cabin. They moved directly toward Elijah. Dr. Carter? One of them asked. Fleet security, we've been instructed to escort you back to the VIP lounge. Admiral Gregory sends her apologies for the inconvenience. The entire cabin had gone quiet. All eyes were on Elijah as he stood and gathered his things. What's happening? Lisa whispered. Elijah smiled at her. Justice. The security officers led Elijah back through the ship. Passengers stared as he passed. This time he was not being taken to a worse seat, but was being treated with respect. The officers walked with straight backs, their faces serious. Admiral, Gregory is very upset about this situation, sir, one officer said quietly. I imagine she is, Elijah replied. His face showed no emotion, but inside he felt a mix of anger and satisfaction. He had not wanted to cause trouble. He had just wanted to travel home in the seat he had paid for. They reached the first-class cabin. Alan Peterson was sitting in seat 1A, drinking something that looked expensive. When he saw Elijah with the security officers, his face turned red. Mr. Peterson, said the taller security officer, there's been a mistake. This seat belongs to Dr. Carter. Please gather your things. Peterson put down his drink hard enough to splash some on his hand. Do you know who I am? I've been a loyal customer for 15 years. Yes, sir. We know exactly who you are, the security officer replied. His voice was cold. And who you aren't. What is that supposed to mean? Peterson stood up, his face getting redder. It means, said a new voice, that you are not a diplomatic liaison to the Arcturians. Captain Frank Norris had appeared in the cabin doorway. His face was pale and he looked worried. You're a mid-level paper pusher who likes to pretend he's more important than he is. Peterson opened his mouth, then closed it. He looked at the captain, then at Elijah, then at the security officers. Without another word, he grabbed his bag and pushed past them all. Dr. Carter, the captain said, please accept my deepest apologies for this unfortunate incident. Your original seat is available to you now. Elijah looked at the seat, then back at the captain. Where is Mr. Peterson being moved to? The captain swallowed hard. To the seat you were given in standard class. I see. Elijah nodded slowly. No, I don't think I'll take the seat after all. I prefer to wait in the VIP lounge until this matter is properly addressed. The security officers exchanged looks. The captain's face fell even more. As you wish, sir. Please follow me to the station's VIP lounge. The captain gestured toward the exit. They left the ship and walked through the busy space station to a quiet area with comfortable chairs and large windows looking out at the stars. A few other well-dressed people sat reading or talking quietly. "Admiral, Gregory will be contacting you shortly," one of the security officers told Elijah. "Is there anything you need while you wait?" "Some water would be nice, thank you," Elijah said. He sat in a chair near the window and took out his communication device. The screen showed dozens of new messages. News traveled fast. The first message was from his assistant. "Sir, the board members have been informed of the incident. They are waiting to hear what actions you want to take." The second was from the legal team. "We can file a formal complaint against the Celestial Voyager and its parent company. We have all the details we need." The third was from Admiral Gregory herself. "Elijah, I've ordered a full investigation. The ship is grounded. I'm coming to the station personally. This is exactly the kind of case we've been looking for." Elijah looked out the window at the stars. The Celestial Voyager should have been on its way to Earth by now. Instead, it sat still at the dock, its passengers probably getting angry about the delay. 20 minutes later, the door to the VIP lounge opened. A woman in a Fleet Admiral uniform walked in with quick, sharp steps. Her gray hair was cut short and her face showed years of command. "Dr. Carter," she said, offering her hand. "I'm sorry we meet again under these circumstances." Elijah stood and shook her hand. "Admiral Gregory, thank you for coming so quickly. Please sit. We have much to discuss." She sat across from him and leaned forward. "I've reviewed the passenger manifest and seating allocations myself. Your reservation was confirmed 3 days ago. There was no mistake." "I suspected as much," Elijah said. "The captain claims he was following company policy for VIP prioritization, but when we checked the policy, there is no mention of diplomatic liaisons getting priority over confirmed first-class passengers." Her eyes were hard. "And Mr. Peterson is not even a real diplomatic liaison. He has a minor desk job at the Eartham embassy." "So the captain lied," Elijah said. "Yes. And this is not the first time." Admiral Gregory took out a tablet and handed it to Elijah. "We've been investigating the Celestial Voyager and other ships from the same company for the past 6 months. We found a pattern of discriminatory practices." Elijah looked at the tablet. It showed records of passenger reassignments with notes about the passengers' appearances, backgrounds, and positions. A disturbing pattern emerged. 17 cases in the past year alone, Admiral Gregory said. Passengers reassigned based on what they called priority assessments that always seemed to disadvantage certain groups of people. "And my case makes 18, Elijah said, handing back the tablet. "Yes, but yours is different." Admiral Gregory smiled, but there was no warmth in it. "You're the CEO of Quantum Frontier Technologies, a key member of the Transportation Equality Commission, and you just negotiated humanity's entrance into the Galactic Defense Coalition. You're probably the worst person they could have chosen to discriminate against." Elijah allowed himself a small smile. "Bad luck for them. Extremely bad luck." Admiral Gregory stood up. "The entire crew of the Celestial Voyager has been relieved of duty pending investigation. Their flight certifications are suspended. The passengers are being transferred to another vessel right now." "What about the parent company?" Elijah asked. "That's up to you. As a commissioner on the Transportation Equality Board, you can recommend a full corporate review." Elijah thought for a moment. His company, Quantum Frontier Technologies, had service contracts with the parent company worth millions of credits. A word from him could end those contracts and start a chain reaction across the industry. "I'll need to make some calls," he said finally. "Of course." Admiral Gregory nodded. "In the meantime, I've arranged for a private shuttle to take you back to Earth. It's waiting whenever you're ready." "Thank you, Admiral." Elijah stood and shook her hand again. "But I think I'll stay here a while longer. I'm curious to see what happens next." As Admiral Gregory left, Elijah turned back to the window. From here, he could see the Celestial Voyager. The ship looked different now. Smaller. He took out his communication device and began to make calls that would change not just one crew's future, but the entire space travel industry. The news about what happened on the Celestial Voyager spread quickly. By the next morning, it was the main story on every news channel on Earth and in the colonies. People saw images of the ship still docked at the space station. They read about how Dr. Elijah Carter, one of the most important business leaders and scientists on Earth, had been treated. Elijah watched the coverage from his office at Quantum Frontier Technologies headquarters in New York. The large window behind his desk showed a view of the city with flying vehicles moving between tall buildings. His assistant Ben stood nearby with a tablet. The company that owns the Celestial Voyager has lost 20% of its value since the market opened this morning, Ben said. Their stock is still falling. Elijah nodded but said nothing. He was looking at a message on his screen from the President of Earth United Nations. The President wants to meet with you today, Elijah told Ben. Set it up for this afternoon. Yes, sir. Ben made a note on his tablet. Also, Lisa Martin is here to see you. Elijah looked up with surprise. Lisa Martin from the lunar base? The woman who sat next to me in standard class? Yes, sir. She says you invited her to visit when you were on the ship. Elijah smiled. I did. Please show her in. Ben left and returned a moment later with Lisa. She looked nervous in her simple clothes, standing in the grand office of one of the most powerful men on Earth. Dr. Carter, thank you for seeing me, she said. Please call me Elijah. He stood and walked around his desk to shake her hand. Have a seat. Would you like something to drink? Water is fine, thank you. Lisa sat in one of the comfortable chairs, facing his desk. She looked around the office at the awards and pictures on the walls. This is quite a place. Ben brought water for both of them and then left them alone. I was surprised to get your message, Lisa said. I didn't think you were serious about reviewing my research proposal. I'm always serious about good science, Elijah replied. Your ideas about quantum communication networks for the outer colonies are exactly what we need. That's why I've asked you here today. Lisa's eyes widened. Really? Yes. I'd like to offer you a position here at Quantum Frontier. Elijah took a drink of water. Head of our new Outer Colonies Communication Division. Lisa almost dropped her glass. Head of... But I'm just a research assistant at the lunar base. You're a brilliant scientist whose ideas have been ignored, because of where you work and maybe because of other factors. Elijah looked at her directly. I know talent when I see it. And I know what it's like to be underestimated. Lisa was quiet for a moment. Is this because of what happened on the ship? Because you feel sorry for me? No. Elijah's voice was firm. This is because your paper on quantum encryption protocols was the best I've read in years. This is because your ideas could connect the outer colonies to Earth in ways we haven't thought possible. This is because you deserve it. A smile spread across Lisa's face. Then I accept. Thank you. Good. Ben will help you with the details. Elijah stood. Now I have a meeting with the Transportation Equality Commission in 10 minutes. They're voting on the fate of the Celestial Voyager's parent company. What do you think will happen? Lisa asked. Justice, Elijah said simply. The Transportation Equality Commission met in a large room with a round table. Elijah sat with the other 11 members facing screens that showed the executives of Starpath Cruises, the company that owned the Celestial Voyager. The evidence is clear, said Commissioner Rodriguez, a stern woman with gray hair. Your company has allowed discriminatory practices on multiple vessels. The case of Dr. Carter is just the most recent example. On the screen, the CEO of Starpath Cruises looked uncomfortable. We had no knowledge of these isolated incidents. The actions of a few crew members do not reflect our company values. Isolated? Commissioner Jackson raised his eyebrows. We have evidence of 17 similar cases in the past year alone, and those are just the ones we know about. And your own company policy manual includes guidelines for VIP prioritization that seem designed to allow for exactly this kind of discrimination, added Commissioner Lee. The CEO wiped sweat from his forehead. We're prepared to make changes, to implement new training, to review all policies. Elijah, who had been quiet until now, leaned forward. Tell me, Mr. Owens, When did you first learn about what happened to me on the Celestial Voyager? The CEO hesitated. When the news broke the next morning. Not when your captain made the decision to move me. Not when Admiral Gregory grounded your ship. Not when your entire crew was relieved of duty. Well, because we have records of a call from Captain Norris to your office immediately after I was removed from my seat. Elijah's voice was calm, but his eyes were hard. And another call from your office to the captain right before the incident. The CEO's face turned pale. The other executives looked at each other with alarm. So either you knew exactly what was happening and approved it, or your company is so badly managed that decisions to discriminate against passengers are made without your knowledge. Elijah sat back in his chair. Neither option speaks well of your leadership. The room was silent. Then Commissioner Rodriguez spoke. We will now vote on the recommendation for full corporate review and suspension of operating licenses for all Starpath vessels. One by one, the commissioners voted. The result was unanimous. Starpath Cruises will cease all operations effective immediately pending a complete corporate review, Commissioner Rodriguez announced. All current passengers will be transferred to other carriers at Starpath's expense. All employees will undergo mandatory equality training before being allowed to return to duty. The CEO of Starpath looked like he might be sick. This will bankrupt us. You should have thought of that before allowing discrimination on your ships, Commissioner Jackson said without sympathy. After the meeting, Elijah returned to his office. He had a message waiting from Quantum Frontier's board of directors. They had voted to end all service contracts with Starpath Cruises and were reviewing relationships with other carriers to ensure they met the company's ethical standards. Ben came in with more news. Sir, the crew of the Celestial Voyager has been formally discharged. Captain Norris and First Officer Dale have been banned from spaceflight duty for life. The others received shorter bans. Elijah nodded. And Mr. Peterson? The fake diplomatic liaison? Ben smiled slightly. He's been fired from his position at the Earth Embassy and is under investigation for falsifying credentials. Good. Elijah turned to look out the window at the city. What about the Galactic Alliance? Any reaction from them? Yes, sir. They've requested information about the incident and our response to it. They seem interested in how we handle these matters. Of course they are. Elijah turned back to his desk. The aliens don't understand why humans would treat each other differently based on appearance. To them, we're all the same species. Do you think this will affect our new agreement with them? Ben asked. It might strengthen it. Elijah picked up a model of a starship on his desk. They want to know that we can police ourselves, that we can recognize our flaws and fix them. He put the model down. This incident shows that we can. The communication screen on his desk lit up. Dr. Carter, the president is ready for your meeting. Elijah straightened his jacket. Tell her I'm on my way. The president's office was in the top floor of the Earth United Nations building. Large windows showed a view of the rebuilt New York skyline. President Olivia Warren stood as Elijah entered the room. She was a tall woman with short brown hair and a serious face. Dr. Carter, thank you for coming, she said, shaking his hand. Please have a seat. Elijah sat in the chair across from her desk. He had met the president several times before, mostly at official functions or during technology briefings. This was the first time she had asked to meet with him privately. I've been following the events with the Celestial Voyager, President Warren said. A troubling situation. Yes, it was, Elijah agreed. The Galactic Alliance has contacted me directly about it. The president's face was serious. They seem very interested in how we handle these matters. I've heard the same, Elijah said. The president pressed a button on her desk and a 3D image appeared in the air between them. It showed a strange alien with blue skin and 4 arms. This was Ambassador Zorn, the main representative of the Galactic Alliance to Earth. The incident on your transport vessel raises questions, the ambassador said in slightly mechanical English. Why do humans still separate themselves by physical differences? This is not common among advanced species. Elijah looked at the president, who nodded for him to answer. "We are still evolving, Ambassador," Elijah said carefully. "Our technology has advanced faster than our society in some ways, but we are working to fix these problems." "Your response to this incident was swift," the ambassador noted. "The removal of the crew, the punishment of the company. This shows promise." "Thank you, Ambassador," the president said. "Earth is committed to equality among all people, and to being a worthy member of the Galactic Alliance." The ambassador's large eyes blinked slowly. "We will continue to observe, but this incident, and your response to it, will be viewed favorably in our report." The image disappeared. The president let out a long breath. "That went better than expected," she said. "The Alliance has been concerned about human division. They don't understand why we would treat our own species differently based on appearance. It's hard to explain to beings who all look completely different from each other," Elijah said with a small smile. "Exactly." The president stood and walked to the window. "Dr. Carter, I asked you here today because I need your help. The Galactic Alliance is offering us a position on their Science Council, but only if we can show that we've moved beyond our old divisions." Elijah raised his eyebrows. "The Science Council? That would give us access to technology hundreds of years ahead of our own." "Yes." The president turned back to face him. "And I want you to be Earth's representative." Elijah was surprised. "Me? You're our leading expert in quantum technology. You've just negotiated our entrance into their defense grid, and now, after this incident, you've become a symbol of our commitment to equality." The president returned to her desk. "You're the perfect choice." Elijah thought for a moment. "When would this start?" "In 1 month. We're building a new station specifically for Galactic Alliance representatives. It will be a place where humans and aliens can work together as equals." The president looked at him hopefully. "Will you accept?" "I'll need to make arrangements at Quantum Frontier," Elijah said. "But yes, I accept." The president smiled with relief. "Excellent. Your assistant will receive all the details tomorrow. And Dr. Carter, thank you. This is an important step for humanity." After leaving the president's office, Elijah went to Quantum Frontier's main research facility outside the city. This was where the company's most advanced projects were developed. He had a meeting with the board of directors to discuss his new role with the Galactic Alliance. The boardroom was on the top floor with views of the test fields where new ships were tried out. The 12 board members stood when Elijah entered. "Dr. Carter, congratulations on your appointment," said Victor Chen, the head of the board. "We're all very proud." "Thank you, Victor." Elijah took his seat at the head of the table. "But this means I'll need to step back from day-to-day operations of the company. We need to discuss who will take over while I'm serving on the Science Council." "We've been talking about that," Victor said. "We have a suggestion if you're open to it." "I'm listening," Elijah said. "We think Lisa Martin would be an excellent choice for acting CEO." Elijah was surprised. "Lisa? She just joined the company yesterday." "Yes, but we've reviewed her work. She's brilliant, and she already has your trust." Victor smiled. "Plus, it would send a strong message about our commitment to promoting talent no matter where it comes from." Elijah thought about it. It was an unusual choice. Lisa was young and had never led a large company before. But her ideas were revolutionary, and she had a fresh perspective that Quantum Frontier needed. "Let's meet with her," Elijah decided. "If she's interested, we can start the transition immediately." Lisa was shocked when they called her to the boardroom. She had spent the day setting up her new office and meeting her team. When Elijah told her about the board's suggestion, she nearly fell out of her chair. "Acting CEO? Me?" She looked around at the board members. "But I've only been here 1 day. Sometimes 1 day is enough to see someone's potential," Elijah said. "I'll be nearby at the new Galactic Alliance station. You'll have the full support of the board and all the department heads." Lisa took a deep breath. "This is unexpected." "Take some time to think about it," Elijah suggested. "This is a big decision." "No," Lisa said firmly. "I don't need time. I accept." The board members smiled and nodded. Elijah felt proud of her confidence. "Then it's settled," he said. "We'll announce it tomorrow. The first female CEO of Quantum Frontier Technologies." After the meeting, Elijah and Lisa walked through the research facility. Scientists and engineers greeted them with respect. "I still can't believe this," Lisa said quietly. 2 days ago, I was a research assistant at the lunar base. Now I'm about to become CEO of the biggest technology company on Earth. Life can change quickly, Elijah said. Sometimes because of bad things, like what happened on that ship. But sometimes good can come from bad situations. "Do you think the crew of the Celestial Voyager ever thought their actions would lead to all this?" Lisa asked. "To you joining the Galactic Alliance Science Council? To me becoming CEO? To changes in the entire space travel industry? Probably not," Elijah smiled. "They thought they were just moving one passenger to a different seat. They had no idea they were changing the course of human history." They stopped at a large window that looked out at the test field. A new ship was being prepared for its first flight. This one would travel faster and farther than any before it, using technology that Elijah had helped develop. "What happens next?" Lisa asked. "We keep moving forward," Elijah said. "As a species, as a planet, as part of something bigger than ourselves." He pointed to the stars that were just becoming visible in the evening sky. "Out there, no one cares about the color of our skin. They only care about the quality of our character and our contributions. Then, we better make sure those contributions are good ones," Lisa said with determination. "We will," Elijah promised. "Starting tomorrow." 1 month later, Elijah stood on the observation deck of the new Galactic Alliance station. The huge space structure hung in orbit around Earth, gleaming in the sunlight. Through the large windows, he could see his home planet, a blue and green ball against the blackness of space. Workers moved around the station, making final preparations for the official opening ceremony. Humans and aliens worked side by side, installing equipment and setting up systems. This was the first time so many different species had worked together on a single project. "Quite a view, isn't it?" said a voice behind him. Elijah turned to see Lisa Martin. She wore the formal uniform of the CEO of Quantum Frontier Technologies, a dark blue suit with the company logo on the shoulder. "Lisa," he said with a smile, "you made it. I wouldn't miss this for anything." She joined him at the window. "The company shuttle just docked. The board members are all here, along with the president and other officials. How are things at Quantum Frontier?" Elijah asked. "Good. Really good, actually." Lisa's eyes sparkled with excitement. "Our stock price is up 30% since the announcement of our partnership with the Galactic Alliance, and our new quantum communication system for the outer colonies has passed all its tests." "I knew you'd do well," Elijah said. "Any problems?" Lisa hesitated. A few raised eyebrows at first. Some people weren't sure about taking orders from someone so young, and some weren't happy about taking orders from a woman. And now they see the results and keep their opinions to themselves. Lisa grinned. "Success is the best answer to doubt." A soft chime sounded throughout the station. "Dr. Carter and Ms. Martin, please report to the main chamber. The ceremony will begin in 15 minutes." They walked together through the curved hallways of the station. Aliens of different shapes and colors nodded respectfully as they passed. Some had extra limbs or strange features, but all were united in this project. "Have you seen Captain Norris or any of the crew from the Celestial Voyager since the incident?" Lisa asked. "No," Elijah said. "I heard Norris is working at a ground transport company now. The others found jobs outside of space travel." "And Starpath Cruises?" "They declared bankruptcy last week. Their ships were sold to other companies." Elijah shook his head. "A whole company gone because they allowed discrimination on their vessels." "A lesson for others," Lisa said. They reached the main chamber, a large round room with seats for hundreds of people. In the center was a raised platform where the opening ceremony would take place. The room was already filling with humans and aliens. Elijah saw familiar faces: President Warren, Admiral Gregory, the board members of Quantum Frontier. And new faces, Ambassador Zorn and other representatives from the 57 species that made up the Galactic Alliance. Dr. Carter, called Admiral Gregory, making her way to them. Today is a big day. Indeed it is, Elijah agreed. I never thought one incident on a space cruiser would lead to all this. Sometimes the smallest events create the biggest changes, the Admiral said. The investigation into Starpath cruises led us to examine practices across the entire space industry. We've implemented new standards for all ships and stations. And the Galactic Alliance is pleased, added President Warren, joining their conversation. They see our quick response as a sign that humans are ready for greater involvement in galactic affairs. A tall alien with green skin approached them. Dr. Carter, it said in perfect English. I am Zell, head of the Science Council. We are honored to welcome you as Earth's representative. The honor is mine, Elijah replied with a small bow. Your planet has shown remarkable progress, Zell continued. From your first steps into space to joining our council in less than 200 years. Most species take twice as long. We learn quickly, President Warren said with pride. Yes, Zell agreed. But you also face unique challenges. Many species have physical differences within their kind, but few attach such importance to these differences as humans do. We're working to move beyond that, Elijah said. The incident on your transport vessel, Zell said, and your response to it has been educational for us. It shows both your challenges and your capacity to address them. The alien touched a device on its wrist, and a 3D image appeared in the air. It showed the celestial Voyager, still docked at the station where Elijah had left it a month ago. This vessel, Zell said, has become a symbol among our council members. A reminder that progress is not always smooth, but responses to problems can be swift and just. The alien waved a hand, and the image changed to show a beautiful new ship. It had smooth lines and glowed with a soft blue light. This is the Unity, Zell explained. The first in a new fleet of diplomatic vessels that will represent Earth to the galaxy, built with both human and Galactic Alliance technology. A symbol of our new partnership. It's beautiful, Lisa whispered. Another chime sounded. All participants, please take your positions for the opening ceremony. Elijah was directed to stand on the platform with Zell, President Warren, and other key figures. Lisa moved to sit with the Quantum Frontier board members. As Elijah took his place, he looked out at the gathered crowd. Humans sat next to aliens, all focused on the ceremony that would officially mark Earth's new role in the Galactic Alliance. It was a moment of unity that few could have imagined just a month ago. President Warren stepped forward to speak first. Today marks a new chapter in human history, she began. Our entrance into the Galactic Alliance as full partners, with a seat on the Science Council. She paused, looking around the room. This achievement is the result of many factors. Our technological progress, our diplomatic efforts, and yes, our willingness to face our flaws and correct them. The President gestured to Elijah. Dr. Carter's experience on the Celestial Voyager was unfortunate, but our response to it showed the galaxy that humans are committed to treating all people with fairness and respect, that we can recognize our mistakes and fix them. Zell stepped forward next. The Galactic Alliance welcomes Earth as our newest partner. We look forward to sharing knowledge, technology, and friendship with humans. Together, we will reach new heights of understanding and progress. As the ceremony continued, Elijah thought about how far things had come in such a short time. From being removed from his seat on a space cruiser to standing here, representing all of humanity to the stars. It was a journey he never could have predicted. When it was his turn to speak, Elijah looked out at the diverse faces before him, human and alien alike. I stand before you today not just as a scientist or a business leader, he said, but as a symbol of humanity's commitment to growth. We are not perfect. We still have much to learn, but we are ready to join you among the stars, as partners and friends. As the crowd applauded, Elijah knew that this was just the beginning. Humanity's real journey was just starting, and it would take them farther than anyone could imagine.